All right, here we go with another cooking video, and this I'm going to try to make as short as possible because it's so few ingredients. It's potatoes, onions, bacon, salt, pepper, milk, and parsley. You can guess what it is already. I'll be back with you when I've got it going. Okay, we're back. So you saw the ingredients before. It's very basic. What you do is you just throw them all into a pot. And so it's about, I don't know, 4-ish pounds of potatoes. You don't need to know how to quarter potatoes. You don't need to know how to fill a pot with water and bring it to a boil. You don't need to throw everything in there. The one thing is, so with I think about 4 pounds of potatoes is what I did. Is that I used a half a pound of bacon. But if you watched my clam chowder video where I did the bacon, just render the fat until it was kind of the texture of clams. That's what I was aiming at. So the bacon would be the same chewy texture as the clams. In this application, I'm trying to do lower fat, and so I rendered them out to basically like bacon bits. But it was a half a pound of bacon to about 3-4 pounds of potatoes in water. You just cover them. And here's what the point is. You want to, so now they're soft. With a potato soup, you're gonna mash this. It doesn't matter. So you see that. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually reducing the water because it's gonna do its own natural thickening. I'm gonna add the milk at the very end, and I'm gonna use only 1% milk. Some applications call for heavy cream, some call for half and half, but we don't need that fat. I can make it just as tasty and just really an awesome succulent thing without doing that. And so I will be back to finish it off. Okay, micro update here. So I'm still, so this was all the ingredients you saw. The potatoes, the onions, the parsley, some salt, some pepper, maybe about a tablespoon each of salt and pepper, into water just barely covered. And I'm boiling it down. And the reason is because I want a better ratio of water to milk. And we're already thick here, even with water, right? So when I come back, I'm gonna finish it off. Just one update. Here's the fat from the bacon that's not in the soup, which is not needed. And I'll address that in the finishing stage. Talk to you later. Okay, this step is important because I want to show you how you make an excellent, tasty, rich, creamy potato soup without a fuck ton of fat, right? Potato soup is high carbohydrate. We know that, right? So what do you have with high carbohydrate? You have something where, in this case, we're not targeting protein. Yeah, there's a half pound of bacon. It's all, the fat's been rendered out, mostly. There's some protein in there. There's, 5% protein in potato. It's not a high protein dish. Give you that, right? So it is high carb. But we want it to be rich and creamy and satisfying. And how do you do that? So this is still just the water. I haven't introduced anything into it. So once I get it, and see it's breaking up just with the spoon. I'm not even having to use yet the masher. So this is what you want, right? And we're gonna use a 1% milk. Now, typically recipes call for half and half, even heavy cream, right? But you don't need all that fat. It's a high carb dish. You don't want all that fat. And what we're gonna do, I'm not even gonna measure it. What I'm gonna do, first I'm eyeballing it. So that's just an eyeball. But I'm gonna stir it and see how it goes. We're finishing off now. I mean, I boiled off almost all the water, right? But you do it very slowly. At first I did it, covered it low, and that I'm just gonna do a little bit more because I can always boil some off, and that'll be enough. So we're probably talking about 3 to 4 cups total there. And we make it then nice and creamy. And I'm gonna bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a mash, but it's not gonna need much. And so I'll be back. All right. Now we're gonna finish it. So the milk has been put in, as I showed you last time, and I brought it to a boil by using low on the burner and a cover. See, and you easily bring it to a boil without scorching the milk, which is important. Whenever you use milk in a dish, you know, you want to be careful about heat. And if you don't want to stir it constantly, then just put it on low and put a cover on it, right? Duh. Instead of like sitting there. But now we're gonna finish it. So it's not quite creamy enough yet. So as to review, we've reduced the water that we use for the potatoes, the onions, the parsley, the bacon, and we reduced that to it was almost a paste in itself, even without this unit and breaking it down. But then we added a lot of milk because we want that. That really finishes it off. It kind of does it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just a few mashes, really. You just really want to, it's really about breaking it up, not mashing it into something. But the advantage is that since potatoes have, as raw, a ton of resistant starch, or starch, you know, but it is actually resistance. If you eat them raw, most of that is not going to digest. Cooking it makes it digestible. It also breaks it up. Think of it like little teeny microscopic, you know, or very, very small kernels of starch popcorn. So boiling it makes them pop. But there's also a lot of fiber. So with potatoes, you're dealing with something that gets locked into the fiber, and you want to release that. Now, the reason I'm making a big pot, so this will, you know, I'll eat a bowl or two, and it'll go in the fridge, right? It'll be thicker tomorrow. I'm going to reduce it a little bit, and I'm going to use some salt, some pepper, and I'm going to now do my tasting and seasoning. I'm going to leave that up to you but here's the thing I would advise for a pot this large: about a half teaspoon of salt at a time. Stir it, let it sit 30 seconds, taste, do another if you want, right? So you want to get it to that bite, and remember this: tomorrow, leftovers, it's going to taste better anyway. Okay, I think that's it for now. I'll do a picture of a bowl of soup later.